For activity 5.8, there's going to be 4 parts you're going to create. The first 2 of those parts are going to primarily use the mirror command. We have this first part, which is our mirror practice, and then the second part, which is the connector piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this practice piece, and we need to make this L-shaped extrusion using these dimensions. We're going to add some fillets in a hole, and then we're going to mirror that across and make our mirrored part. So I'll go ahead and go over to Inventor and open up a new part. And I'll start a sketch on the XY plane. And I'm going to use the rectangle command to make my outline for that L-shaped bracket. You could use the line command by selecting line and then just outlining. You can do it however you like. I think rectangle is a little quicker, so that's what I'm going to use. And if I look at my activity sheet, the left-hand side of this is 0.5 by 0.75, and then the right-hand side is 0.5 by 1 inch tall. So I'll go back to Inventor, snap to the origin, and 0.75 wide, and I'll tab to the other dimension, which is 0.5. And then I'll use another rectangle command, snap to the bottom right-hand corner of the one I just made. It's going to be 0.5 wide, tab over, 1 inch tall. I'm going to finish the sketch. Use the extrude command, and if you use the line command, you'd only have one profile to select, or it may automatically select it for you. I need to select both of mine. And if we look at the activity sheet and zoom in here a little bit, we'll see that that extrusion is 0.75 deep. So go 0.75 and hit enter. Then we need to add our fillets and our hole here in the center. Now these 2 outside edges here have a 0.25 fillet. This inside edge, if you go back to the activity sheet, it's kind of hard to see. It does have a fillet. It is not 0.25. It's actually 0.125. And then we have a 0.375 inch diameter hole here in the center of that face. So I'll go ahead and grab the 3D fillet and change this to 0.25. And I'm going to select those outside edges. And what you'll notice is I don't have to rotate this around to get that edge. I can actually select it through the part. So I'll go ahead and select that and hit apply. Then I'm going to change that radius back to 0.125, and I want to select the inside edge of this face and hit apply, and then I can hit close. Now what I'm going to do is create a new sketch on this face, and I want to put a hole right in the center of that. So it's going to be 0.375 inches. So I'm going to grab a circle, and I'm just going to place it somewhere in the center here, close to the center, and give it a diameter of 0.375 and hit enter. Now you could also place a point and then use the hole command. Since this is just a standard through hole with no threads or countersink or anything, I'm just going to use a circle and extrude. I want to grab my dimension command, and I know the depth of this is 0.75, so I want to go from the center point to the back here. If I can click in the right spot, that might be helpful. Go from the center point. Having all sorts of trouble today. Try that one more time. From the center point to this back edge, and I want that to be 0.75 divided by 2, which is 0.375. And then I want a dimension from the center point to the left-hand side here, which is exactly the same, and I can type 0.375, or I could do the 0.75 divided by 2. And I'm going to finish that sketch, and then I'm going to use the extrude command, and I want to do a cut. And instead of doing a distance, which will work, I actually want to do 2 next. And then what I can do is go to the bottom and select this, actually I'm sorry, I want to do 2, and then select this bottom face. And that'll extrude or create that extrusion depth to that next face. So now if I go back later and change the dimensions of this, it'll still extrude all the way through, and I won't have to go back and change my extrusion, which is really convenient. Now that I have those features, I'm going to use my 3D mirror command, which is going to be located under the pattern panel. I'm going to grab mirror, and I want to select all the features. I want to select the original body itself. Then I need to actually select all the features I added, which are those 2 fillets, this hole, and then also this inside fillet as well. Then I'm going to go to mirror plane, and I want to use this inside face. And you'll notice a wireframe outline of what's being mirrored over. And then if you hit OK, your part has been mirrored over. If you'd like, you can go in and change color. I'll just go ahead and For some reason I like this gold color, so I'm going to add that gold color, and this make sure I go and save that part. And it should be saved, or you should create a 5.8 folder within your IED folder to save all these parts to, and just make sure you go and save this part. Now after that part's done, we need to create the connector piece. So if I go back to my activity sheet, zoom out just a little bit and scroll down, I need to make this connector piece. So the sketch that you're actually going to make is this first sketch on the activity sheet. Now if you look through the activity, it tells you to create that sketch, and then in your sketch in 2D mode to mirror that over and then mirror it a second time to get that part over, and that's a way of doing it. You could also go through or create this sketch, extrude it, and then do a 3D mirror as well. So I'm going to go ahead and create this sketch here. So if we go into Inventor, I'm going to go to New, Standard IPT file, and then I'm going to create a 2D sketch on the XY plane. I'm going to take a look at my activity sheet here, and I know the overall width here is 1.15 and the overall height is 0.39, so I'm going to start there. I'm going to use my align command from the origin, and I'm going to go to the left this time instead of right like we normally do, and I'm going to make that dimension 1.15, and then my height dimension should be 0.39, or my height line for this section. Click OK, and I'm going to go back and look at my activity sheet, and I know the distance from this outside edge to here is going to be the 1.15 minus 0.3, so I can actually go ahead and type that in. I'm going to use the line command, and I want to make sure that's perfectly at 0 degrees, and it's going to be 1.15 minus 0.3, which is 0.85, and you could have done the math yourself, but might as well let Inventor do it. We can jump back to the activity sheet. I know this line is going to be 0.22 tall, and then that is going to be 0.04 wide. So grab line command again, 0.22, and then get that, make sure it's parallel or horizontal, and 0.04. I click OK. I'm going to come back to my activity sheet. I know that this line here, I'm going to go back to my origin here. This one's going to be 0.32. So I'll go ahead and make that line there. 0.32. Right click OK. I'm going to jump back to my activity sheet. And I know that the distance of this this line here is going to be 0.3 minus 0.04, or this dimension here. So I'll go back to Inventor, grab my line command. And this line is going to be, make sure it's horizontal, and it's going to be 0.3 minus 0.04. And then I can just come down here and finish that connection and hit OK. Now I got the general shape, but if we go back to the activity sheet, I have several fillets I need to add. I have this outside fillet here, which is a radius of 0.1, a fillet here, which is a radius of 0.05, and then a radius here, which is a fillet of 0.04. So I'll go back to Inventor, grab my 2D fillet command, and I'm going to change that to 0.1, and I'm going to add the fillet to this corner. Then I'm going to change that to 0.05. I'm going to add the fillet to this corner here. And then one last time I'm going to change that to 0.04. And then I'm going to add that fillet to that inside corner there and hit close. Now if I go back to my sketch here, all my fillets are added, so I'm ready to mirror this part. So once again, I could do this as a 2D or 3D, so I'll show you 2D first. If I want to mirror this entire part, I'm just going to grab the mirror command in sketch mode, and it's asking me to select, so I'm going to select, click and drag a box around everything I'd like to select, and then I'm going to select mirror line, and I want to use this right hand vertical line and hit apply, and that's going to mirror that over to that side. Then I'll just grab the mirror command again, select both of those sketches, use the mirror line as this bottom line, and hit apply, and then I can mirror that over. Then I can take this in, grab the extrude command, select each of the profiles, and what you'll notice is this doesn't allow me to select these parts. And that's most likely because there is a constraint somewhere, or lines aren't connected, or whatever it may be. And this is the exact reason why I do not like using the 2D mirror. I'm sorry, the 2D mirror. So instead, we undo here. I'm going to go back into the sketch. And I'm going to go back to this original sketch, and I'm going to finish that. And then I want to come use the extrude command, and we're going to extrude this. It's, the dimension's not in your activity sheet. We're just going to use 0.4 as your extrusion. Hit OK. And instead of mirroring in 2D, which you can do and works most of the time, but sometimes you can run into problems like we just did, I'm going to use the 3D mirror command. So I'm going to go up to the pattern panel and grab my 3D mirror command. I'm going to select the features I want to mirror, which is this profile that I extruded, and my mirror plane, and I'm going to select this face, and you'll see the wireframe, so that mirrors over. We'll do that. And then I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to select both features that I want to mirror. Rotate this around just a little bit, and then select my mirror plane, which is this bottom edge, and then I can mirror that over. Now, the advantage or disadvantage of this is if I do it this way, I have an extrusion and 2 mirrors over here. But if I need to go back and edit this thing, I can still go into the extrusion and edit the original sketch. So the disadvantage of doing it this way is you have more features in the browser. The advantage is that it's a little more foolproof as far as sketches and mirroring and making sure things line up and allowing you to extrude. So whichever method you want to try is up to you. Once you have this done, make sure you go to save this file. You can go ahead and add a green color to it if you wish. Let's see. Go down to smooth dark forest green. I'm going to add that green there. Go ahead and save this part using the naming convention given in your activity sheet, which is this last name, first initial, and connector. If you want to use the convention we've been using, which is connector _ first initial last name, that's fine as well. And make sure you save that to your 5.7 folder, and then you are done with this second part.